Ethan blinked against the glare of Valoria's twin suns. The sky shimmered in pale gold and soft violet, and crystalline towers stretched like frozen rivers toward the horizon. He had never seen anything like this in his life. Earth's cities felt cramped and ordinary compared to this alien world. Every corner of the city of Thaloria pulsed with life, alien and strange yet fascinating. The air hummed faintly, almost like a melody only Valorians could hear. Ethan, a human explorer and diplomat, had been sent as part of an interplanetary mission to study Valoria and its people. Humans had only recently made contact with Valorians, and while most humans were cautious, Ethan's role demanded courage and curiosity in equal measure. He adjusted the straps of his exploration pack. His mission today was simple: study wildlife near the outskirts of Thaloria, gather data, and ensure no dangerous creatures wandered into the city. Simple, except for the fact that some Valorian creatures were not just dangerous, they were deadly. Ethan's guide, a Valorian scout named Krylon, walked beside him. Krylon's skin shimmered with a faint iridescence, changing color with his mood, and his forearms moved with precise elegance. "You should stay alert," Krylon said, his voice low and cautious. "Even the smallest predator here can take down a Valorian in seconds. For a human, it is far worse." Ethan nodded, gripping his energy scanner. "I've got this. I can handle it," Krylon snorted, but he didn't argue. Humans were odd in Valoria, fragile, unpredictable, but somehow brave. The outskirts of Thaloria were wild, a jungle of crystalline trees that glowed faintly, their branches stretching like delicate arms. Strange insects with translucent wings flitted about, and small animals darted between the glowing roots. Ethan's scanner beeped softly, warning him of movement nearby. Suddenly a shriek pierced the air, a sound so high-pitched and desperate that it made Ethan's stomach twist. He turned toward the sound and saw a small creature struggling in the claws of a massive predator. Its body was covered in silver fur, eyes wide with fear. The predator was unlike anything Ethan had ever seen. Sleek, multi-limbed, and fast, its amber eyes locked on its prey. Ethan's heart raced. Instinct took over. He dashed forward, calling out to Krylon. "We have to help it." Krylon's forearms flared with energy, preparing to attack, but Ethan didn't wait. He sprinted, dodging a swipe from the predator's claw. Using his scanner's energy pulse, he aimed directly at the beast. A shock of blue light hit it squarely, causing it to howl and retreat slightly. The creature dropped its prey and fled into the underbrush, leaving the small, trembling child creature behind. Ethan knelt beside it. Its silver fur shimmered softly, and it blinked at him with large, intelligent eyes. "It's okay. You're safe now," Ethan whispered, though his voice sounded strange in the alien jungle. Krylon finally caught up, breathing heavily. "Human, that was reckless. You could have been killed." Ethan smiled, brushing some dirt off the creature. "Maybe, but I couldn't just watch it die." Krylon's color shifted, a sign of approval among Valorians. That bravery is unusual for humans. As they walked back to the city, the small creature clung to Ethan's leg, refusing to leave his side. Krylon raised an eyebrow. "It seems to claim you somehow," Ethan chuckled. "Claim me? It's just a child," but Krylon's expression was serious. "In Valoria, even children can sense courage. The act of bravery, it is recognized. Others will hear of it." Back in Thaloria, word of Ethan's actions spread quickly. Citizens and guards whispered in hallways, curiosity and awe mixing in their voices. Soon, Ethan found himself summoned to the royal palace, a grand structure of translucent crystal, rising high above the city like a shining mountain. Inside, the air was cool and fragrant with alien flowers that floated in midair. Guards in shimmering armor bowed as Ethan passed. At the heart of the palace, in a chamber of polished crystal floors and golden light, stood Princess Lyra. Her eyes, a deep shade of violet, locked on him immediately. Her presence was commanding, yet there was a warmth in her gaze. "You are the human," she said softly, almost as if confirming a rumor she already knew, "the one who saved the child." Ethan inclined his head respectfully. "Yes, Your Highness. It was nothing. Just instinct." Lyra's lips curved in a faint smile. "Nothing?" Humans often claim their bravery is instinct. But your actions today, they were extraordinary. Ethan felt a flush of pride mixed with unease. Valorians were not prone to compliments from royalty, especially about acts that involved danger. She stepped closer, her gaze piercing yet curious. You are brave, human. Tell me, are you claimed? The question froze Ethan. Claimed? He asked, his voice hesitant. Lyora's smile widened slightly. Yes, in Valoria, one who faces danger to protect others is recognized. To be claimed is to be honored, to be bound by trust and respect. Are you claimed? Ethan swallowed. On Earth, no one had ever asked him such a thing. I don't know. I've never been asked that before. Lyora's expression softened. Then perhaps you are yet to be claimed. Or perhaps you are waiting for something greater. You have courage, yes, but courage alone does not bind one to Valoria. Will you stay and learn our ways? Will you be tested? Ethan hesitated, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. To be claimed was not just an honor, it was a commitment. To Valorians, it meant trust, protection, and a bond that could last a lifetime. He had only been here a day, but something inside him stirred. A sense that he belonged, at least in part, to this strange, beautiful world. I will do my best, he said finally, standing tall despite the nerves twisting in his stomach. Lyra nodded approvingly. Good. Then you will begin tomorrow. You will be tested in courage, intelligence, and compassion. Only then will you know if you are ready to be claimed. That night, Ethan could not sleep. The palace walls, glowing faintly under Valoria's moons, felt both comforting and alien. The small creature he had saved curled up near him, and he stroked its fur absent-mindedly. Its eyes reflected the moonlight, and Ethan felt an unexpected bond forming. He thought of Earth, his home, friends, family. And then he thought of Valoria, the alien skies, the strange creatures, the city of light. And now the princess who had looked at him with something like trust and curiosity. The world was vast, and for the first time, Ethan realized that bravery was not just about fighting or surviving. It was about choosing to stand for others, even when the outcome was uncertain. By the time the suns rose again, Ethan was ready. He would face whatever trials Valoria had prepared. He would prove that humans were more than fragile creatures, more than outsiders. He would show that courage, empathy, and determination could cross even the greatest of worlds. And maybe, just maybe, he would understand what it meant to be claimed. As he prepared for the day ahead, the small creature nudged him, chirping softly. Ethan laughed. Looks like we're in this together, little one. Outside the palace, Valoria's streets bustled with life, unaware of the quiet storm of events about to unfold. Among the aliens, whispers of a brave human spread like wildfire. A human who had saved a child, who had faced danger without fear, who might soon change the way Valorians saw outsiders forever. Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his choice and the thrill of the unknown. Whatever lay ahead, he knew one thing for certain. This world would never forget the human who dared to be brave. And somewhere in the crystal halls of the palace, Princess Lyra smiled, her violet eyes gleaming. So, are you ready to be claimed? The sun of Valoria rose slowly, spilling golden light across the crystalline towers of Thaloria. Ethan stood in the palace courtyard, the small creature he had saved at his side, its silver fur glinting in the morning light. Today, he would face the first of his trials, a series of tests designed to see if he was worthy of being claimed. Princess Lyra approached him, her violet eyes serious but not unkind. She carried an aura of authority that made even the palace guards bow slightly before her. Ethan, she said, her voice calm yet commanding, today you will learn what it means to be tested in Valoria. Bravery is only one part of it. Intelligence, empathy, and respect for life are equally important. Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. I understand, Princess. Lyra led him to a large chamber filled with strange machinery and floating platforms. The room shimmered as if the air itself were alive. This is the Hall of Trials. Here you will face challenges that will test your mind and heart. You must complete them to move closer to being claimed. Ethan glanced around, noticing symbols etched into the crystal walls. They seemed to shift slightly, almost like they were watching him. The first trial, Lyra explained, would be one of intelligence. You will solve a series of puzzles designed to measure reasoning, adaptability, and insight. Only by understanding the patterns of Valoria can you succeed. Ethan swallowed. Humans were clever, but he knew that Valorian puzzles were designed to challenge even the brightest of their own kind. I'll do my best, he said, gripping the small creature, who chirped softly as if encouraging him. The first puzzle was a large floating cube, covered with glowing symbols. Ethan reached out and touched one of the symbols. Instantly, the cube shifted and more symbols appeared. He realized the symbols were connected in a sequence, and the solution required both logic and observation. Minutes passed as he studied the patterns. He remembered lessons from Earth, using deduction and trial and error. Slowly, the cube responded to his touch, turning and clicking until it finally opened, revealing a small crystal inside, a symbol of success in Valoria. Princess Lyra nodded approvingly. "You have a keen mind, Ethan. Few outsiders grasp our puzzles so quickly, but your journey has only begun." The next trial tested courage and physical skill. Lyra led him to a chamber with high platforms suspended over a glowing pit. Alien creatures designed to simulate dangers lurked in shadows. You must reach the end without falling, avoiding dangers along the way. This will test your focus, balance, and bravery. Ethan took a deep breath. His legs felt tense as he stepped onto the first platform. Below, the pit shimmered with an unearthly light. He moved carefully, stepping from one floating stone to another. At one point, a simulated predator lunged at him, and he ducked just in time. The small creature ran alongside him, agile and fearless. It chirped encouragingly as if cheering him on. Ethan felt a surge of determination. He could not fail, not for himself, not for the child he had saved, and not for the trust Lyra had placed in him. Minutes later, Ethan reached the final platform. His heart pounded, but he had succeeded. Lyra clapped softly. "Your courage is undeniable. You face danger without hesitation, a quality all Valorians admire." The final trial for the day focused on empathy and compassion. Lyra guided him to a garden within the palace, filled with alien plants that reacted to touch. Some emitted soothing light when nurtured, others shrank or withered when handled carelessly. In the center of the garden, a Valorian elder awaited. "This trial is the most important," the elder said, her voice gentle. "It measures how you understand and respect life. Bravery and intelligence alone are not enough to be claimed. You must show that you can care for others, that you recognize the value of every living being." Ethan nodded. The small creature he had saved nestled close to his feet, reminding him of his first act on Valoria. He moved carefully through the garden, touching plants and observing their reactions. He listened to the subtle sounds of life, the hum of energy in the air, the soft vibrations of leaves, and he began to understand the delicate balance of Valorian nature. At one point, he found a plant wilting, its leaves drooping sadly. Remembering a technique Lyra had shown earlier, he adjusted the energy flow with his hands, nurturing it back to life. Slowly, the plant brightened, its glow returning. The elder smiled. "You see, human," she said, "life on Valoria is interconnected. To be claimed is to recognize this connection, to honor it, and to protect it." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. He understood now that bravery alone was not enough. True courage was paired with compassion, intelligence, and respect for all beings. After the trials, Lyra brought him to a quiet chamber. She studied him carefully. "Ethan, humans are unusual in many ways. You are fragile, yet you face danger without fear. You are clever, yet you value life in ways our kind sometimes forget. This is why I'm intrigued by you. You may not yet be claimed, but your potential is clear." Ethan hesitated. "Potential? Does that mean I could be claimed someday?" Lyra smiled faintly. "Perhaps, but claiming is not given lightly. You must continue to learn our ways, face challenges, and prove that your heart and mind are aligned with Valorian values. Only then will the choice be yours, and ours." Just as Ethan absorbed her words, a commotion arose in the palace courtyard. A messenger rushed in, breathless. "Princess Lyra, human, there is trouble at the city outskirts. A group from the neighboring territory is attempting to capture the child you saved." Ethan's heart leapt. Without hesitation, he followed the princess and the guards toward the city gates. The small creature ran alongside him, fearless despite the danger. At the outskirts, chaos reigned. Valorian guards engaged in a tense standoff with the intruders, who wielded strange energy weapons. The child, hiding behind a crystalline bush, trembled in fear. Ethan did not pause. He dashed forward, using his knowledge of Valorian terrain to move swiftly and safely. With careful precision, he disarmed one intruder, dodged another, and finally reached the child. The small creature climbed onto Ethan's shoulder, chirping loudly. Together, they guided the child back toward the safety of the Valorian guards. Princess Lyra arrived shortly after, her presence commanding the intruders to retreat. She turned to Ethan, her violet eyes wide with admiration. "You acted without hesitation. You risked yourself for another, just as you did before. This is the heart of being claimed." Ethan, breathing heavily, looked at her. I just did what I thought was right." Lyra smiled softly. "And that is why you are different, Ethan. Most would hesitate, most would run. But you act not for recognition, not for reward, but because it is right. That is the essence of courage and honor." As the sun set, casting long shadows across the city, Ethan stood in the courtyard, the child safe beside him. He felt a sense of belonging he had never known. Perhaps, he thought, this world, strange, alien, and beautiful, was a place where humans could make a difference. Lyra approached him quietly. "Tomorrow we will begin the next stage of your journey. You will face trials that test not only your mind and heart, but also your spirit. Remember this day, Ethan. The bonds you form, the choices you make, and the courage you display will guide you toward being claimed, or not." Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of her words. He looked at the child and the small creature, then at the glowing towers of Thaloria. He knew that whatever lay ahead, he would face it with the same determination that had guided him through the trials today. And somewhere deep inside, a quiet thought took root. Being claimed was not just an honor, it was a responsibility. A responsibility to protect, to respect, and to show the best of humanity in a world far beyond Earth. As night fell over Valoria, Ethan could feel the hum of the city, the pulse of life in every crystalline creature. He was no longer just a visitor. He was a participant, a protector, a human with the potential to be claimed. And with that realization came a sense of purpose that filled him with both pride and anticipation. Tomorrow, he would continue his journey. Tomorrow he would face the next trial, and tomorrow the question would come again. Are you claimed? But tonight Ethan simply allowed himself to be human, brave, curious, and ready for the adventure that awaited him. The morning on Valoria was quiet, but the air was alive with energy. Ethan woke early, feeling the pulse of the crystalline city through the floor beneath his feet. The small creature he had saved yesterday perched on his shoulder, chirping softly as if reminding him that the day would bring new challenges. Princess Lyra awaited him in the palace courtyard. Her violet eyes gleamed with curiosity and a hint of amusement. Today, Ethan, you will learn that courage alone is not enough. You will face challenges that require understanding, teamwork, and trust. Are you ready? Ethan nodded. I am ready, Princess. Whatever comes, I will do my best. She led him to a large open field just outside the city, where alien structures twisted toward the sky like frozen vines. In the distance, a group of Valorian children and young warriors practiced drills. Today's trial was different. It was not about puzzles or agility or even raw courage, it was about leadership and collaboration. You will guide these young Valorians, Lyra explained. They are skilled, yes, but inexperienced. You must help them overcome obstacles, solve problems, and protect each other. Many humans fail this trial because they try to lead with strength alone. You must lead with heart. Ethan's stomach tightened. Leading others, especially Valorians, was uncharted territory. But the small creature chirped, and he felt a surge of determination. He approached the group, bowing slightly. I am Ethan, he said. Today we work together. I will do my best to guide you, and I hope you will trust me. The young Valorians looked at him skeptically. They were agile, strong, and confident, but they had never followed a human. Some whispered to each other, eyes wide with curiosity. Ethan took a deep breath. First challenge, he said, pointing to a series of floating platforms above a shallow pit filled with glowing energy. We must cross together. Everyone must make it safely to the other side. The Valorians hesitated, glancing at each other nervously. Ethan stepped onto the first platform, demonstrating the proper balance. Watch my movement, then follow. Trust me and trust each other. Slowly, the group began to move. Ethan guided them step by step, offering encouragement and advice. When one of the younger Valorians slipped, Ethan caught them with a strong hand. The group began to trust him, their movements more confident. As they reached the other side, Lyra observed silently, her eyes studying Ethan with interest. He had not just led with skill, he had led with care and attention. The Valorian children smiled and cheered quietly, their respect for the human growing. But the next trial was far more challenging. A sudden alarm sounded and the sky darkened. From the distant hills, a group of rogue Valorians approached, their intentions unclear but dangerous. They had come to challenge the city's young warriors, perhaps testing their strength or provoking conflict. Ethan did not hesitate. "Stay together. Keep close," he shouted. He positioned the children behind him and the small creature, ready to defend them. Despite being human and fragile, he did not falter. His courage inspired the young Valorians who fought bravely alongside him. The skirmish was tense but brief. Ethan used his knowledge of the terrain and the environment, guiding the young warriors to use the crystalline structures as cover. The rogue Valorians, seeing the humans' determination and the children's cohesion, retreated. When the danger passed, Lyra appeared from the palace gates, her expression unreadable. "You did well," she said, her voice soft but filled with authority. "You showed courage, yes, but more importantly, you showed care for others. You did not act for glory or recognition. You acted because it was right." Ethan wiped sweat from his brow, glancing at the young Valorians. They were wide-eyed but smiling, and even a few older warriors nodded with respect. I just wanted everyone to be safe," he said simply. Lyra's smile softened. "That is what makes human unusual. You possess a courage and empathy that are rare, even among Valorians. It is why I continue to watch you with interest. Perhaps one day you will be claimed. Perhaps one day you will become a guardian not just of children, but of this world." As the day progressed, Ethan and Lyra walked through the city. The princess explained more about Valorian culture, their values and their history. Humans often focused on strength, technology, and survival, Lyra said. While Valorians valued balance, respect, and connection, Ethan listened carefully, absorbing everything. He began to understand why the trials were so different from anything on Earth. They were designed to test not just the body, but the mind and heart. By afternoon, a new challenge awaited. The child Ethan had saved yesterday had wandered into a restricted area, a dense jungle of crystalline trees teeming with dangerous wildlife. Lyra turned to him, her violet eyes serious. "This is your next test, Ethan. Rescue the child safely. You cannot rely on brute strength. You must use intelligence, strategy, and understanding of Valorian nature." Ethan nodded, his heart racing. The small creature chirped and ran ahead, leading him through the glowing undergrowth. The jungle was alive, each plant and tree reacting to their presence. Ethan moved carefully, observing the subtle signals of danger, shimmering leaves, soft vibrations, and changes in the air's hum. He found the child hiding behind a tall crystal tree, trembling. "It's okay," Ethan whispered. "I'm here to take you back safely." As he approached, a predator emerged from the shadows, a sleek, multi-limbed creature with glowing amber eyes. Ethan froze for a moment, then remembered Lyra's words. Bravery alone was not enough. He needed to think, not just fight. Using the terrain, he led the predator away from the child, setting a trap with the crystals around him. The creature stumbled into the trap, immobilized by the shifting crystal energy. Ethan quickly scooped up the child, holding it close. The small creature ran alongside them, guiding them safely out of the jungle. When they returned to the city, Lyra waited. Her expression was one of quiet approval. "You see, Ethan," she said, "a guardian is not defined by strength but by understanding. You protected the child not because you were stronger, but because you were clever, careful, and compassionate. That is why you are different." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. He was learning that Valoria's challenges were not just tests, they were lessons. Each trial taught him more about the world, the people, and himself. He was beginning to understand that being claimed was not just an honor, it was a responsibility. As the sun set, casting long shadows across the Loria, Ethan stood beside Lyra, the child and the small creature. The city glowed softly under the twin moons, the crystalline towers reflecting the light in dazzling patterns. Lyra turned to him, her expression serious. "Ethan, the trials you have faced are only the beginning. The next stage will test your spirit, your loyalty, and your ability to make difficult choices. You have shown courage, intelligence, and empathy, but the path to being claimed is not simple. Are you prepared to continue?" Ethan nodded, feeling a sense of determination stronger than ever. "Yes, Princess. I will do whatever it takes." Lyra smiled, a rare warmth in her expression. "Good. Tomorrow you will face challenges that may surprise you. Remember, being claimed is not just about strength or courage. It is about trust, responsibility, and understanding. Only those who truly embody these values can walk the path you have begun. Ethan looked at the child and the small creature, then at the glowing city. He felt a sense of connection he had never experienced on Earth. Valoria was strange, alien, and beautiful, but it was a world that could teach humans something new. And he was ready to learn, ready to grow, and ready to face whatever trials lay ahead. As night fell, Ethan walked back to his quarters, the small creature perched on his shoulder. He thought of the day's events, the trust of the young Valorians, the rescue in the jungle, and the quiet approval of Princess Lyra. He realized that being brave was only the beginning. To be claimed, he would need to continue proving himself not just through actions, but through choices that reflected his heart. And deep inside, a quiet excitement stirred. Tomorrow, the next challenge awaited, and with it a chance to show that humanity, fragile, unpredictable, and sometimes underestimated, could shine even on an alien world. Ethan smiled softly. Whatever came next, he knew one thing. He would face it with courage, intelligence, and empathy. He would show Valoria that humans were capable of greatness. And perhaps one day he would answer the question that had haunted him since meeting Lyra. Are you claimed? Tonight, under the glow of Valoria's moons, Ethan felt ready. He was not just a visitor anymore. He was a protector, a guide, a human with the potential to be claimed, and the world was watching. The twin suns of Valoria hung high in the sky, casting long golden reflections across the crystal towers of Thaloria. Ethan walked through the palace courtyard, the small silver-furred creature perched on his shoulder, chirping softly as if sensing his thoughts. Today he would face the final trial before the choice to be claimed could even be considered. Princess Lyra approached him, her violet eyes serious but calm. "Ethan," she said, her voice carrying the weight of authority, "your courage, intelligence, and empathy have been proven. Today you face a trial of spirit, a test that will measure your loyalty, judgment, and understanding of responsibility. It will not be easy." Ethan nodded. "I understand, Princess. I will do my best." Lyra led him to a secluded part of the palace grounds. The area was unlike anything Ethan had seen before. A circular field surrounded by glowing trees whose leaves shimmered like silver glass. At the center stood a crystal pedestal, on which rested a small sphere of pulsing energy. Lyra's expression was unreadable. "This trial," she said, "requires you to make a decision that will affect not just yourself, but others. The sphere contains a simulation of a crisis that may strike Thaloria. You must choose how to act. Your choice will reflect your understanding of duty, responsibility, and the values of Valoria." Ethan felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. He had faced puzzles, physical challenges, and dangers before, but this trial felt personal. It was not about speed, strength, or even intellect. It was about judgment, the ability to do what was right even when the consequences were uncertain. He approached the sphere cautiously. As his fingers brushed its surface, a vision unfolded before him. He saw Thaloria under attack by a neighboring faction. Citizens ran in panic. Crystalline structures shattered, and young Valorians scrambled to defend themselves. In the vision, he recognized the child he had saved. The small silver creature, and even Princess Lyra herself. The simulation required a choice: intervene directly and risk himself, or guide the defenders from a distance using strategy and knowledge of the city. Both options had risks. Acting directly could save more immediately but might cost him his life. Guiding from afar might minimize personal risk but could result in more damage if his plans failed. Ethan took a deep breath. He remembered what he had learned from Lyra and the trials so far. Courage, empathy, intelligence, and respect were all necessary. But above all, protecting others was the highest responsibility. He stepped forward. "I will act directly," he said firmly. "I cannot stand aside while others are in danger. I will do my best to save everyone." The sphere shimmered and the simulation accelerated. Ethan found himself in the heart of the vision, surrounded by chaos. Using knowledge he had learned from Valoria's terrain, he led citizens to safe zones, helped young Valorians defend the city, and used clever tricks to confuse the attackers. Every step required thought, bravery, and care. At one point he encountered the child from the jungle, cornered by a simulated predator. Without hesitation, Ethan shielded the child with his body and redirected the creature using a clever maneuver he had observed in the earlier trials. The child was safe and the attackers were forced to retreat. The simulation ended and Ethan stepped back, breathing heavily. Lyra watched him silently. "You acted with courage and responsibility," she said. "You did not prioritize your own safety over the lives of others. That is the mark of a true guardian." Ethan felt a mix of relief and exhaustion. I just wanted everyone to be safe," he said, his voice quiet. "Exactly," Lyra said softly. "That is why you are unusual, Ethan. Humans are fragile, yes, but your willingness to act for others sets you apart. You are ready to make the ultimate choice. You may be claimed by Valoria, but to do so requires commitment. Once claimed, you accept responsibility for those you protect, for the city and for the bonds you have formed. Are you willing to take that step?" Ethan hesitated. He thought of Earth, his family, his friends, the world he had left behind. Being claimed would mean staying on Valoria, dedicating himself fully to this alien planet. But he also thought of the child, the small creature, the young Valorians who had trusted him, and Princess Lyra who believed in him. The decision weighed heavily on him. To return to Earth meant safety and familiarity. To stay meant honor, responsibility, and a chance to make a difference on a world far beyond his own. He knelt beside the child, feeling the soft silver fur beneath his hand. The creature chirped and rubbed against him, and Ethan realized that this bond, however small, carried meaning. He had saved this child, and in doing so, he had begun to build a connection that stretched beyond words or species. I want to stay," Ethan said finally, his voice steady. "I want to protect Valoria, its people, and its children. I want to be responsible for those I can help." Lyra's expression softened, and a rare, genuine smile appeared on her face. "Then you have made your choice. To be claimed is not about titles or honor alone. It is about commitment, trust, and responsibility. By choosing to stay, you accept all of this." The palace erupted in quiet celebration. Valorian citizens and young warriors who had witnessed Ethan's trials gathered to acknowledge his decision. It was not merely a ceremony. It was a recognition of the bond between human and Valoria, a moment that would be remembered for generations. Lyra led Ethan to a chamber filled with crystalline light. "The ceremony to officially mark your claiming will take place tomorrow," she said. "But tonight you must understand what this means. Being claimed is a lifelong commitment. You are now a guardian of not just the child, but of Valoria itself. Your choices will affect many, and your courage will be tested again and again." Ethan nodded, feeling the gravity of her words. He walked to the balcony overlooking Valoria. The city shimmered under the twin moons, its towers reflecting light in dazzling patterns. For a moment he thought of Earth, its blue skies, familiar sounds, and friends he had left behind. Then he looked at Valoria, with its beauty, its people, and the life he had begun to protect. He felt a sense of purpose he had never known. Being claimed was not just an honor. It was a responsibility, a duty to protect, guide, and care for those who depended on him. The small creature chirped from his shoulder, and Ethan smiled. "We'll do this together," he said softly. "No matter what comes, we'll face it together." That night, as he prepared for the claiming ceremony, Ethan thought of everything he had learned on Valoria. Courage was important, but it was the heart that mattered most. Intelligence could solve problems, but empathy built bonds. Bravery without understanding was incomplete, but combined with care and responsibility, it could change worlds. Princess Lyra entered quietly, standing beside him. "Tomorrow you will be officially recognized," she said. "But remember, Ethan, the title is not the end, it is the beginning. Being claimed is a path of constant learning, of service, and of trust. Are you prepared for that?" Ethan nodded. "I am ready. I want to be worthy of this honor, Princess. I want to show that humans can make a difference even here on Valoria." Lyra smiled, her violet eyes gleaming in the moonlight. "Then sleep well, Ethan. Tomorrow your choice will be known to all. And tomorrow, Valoria will have a human among its guardians, someone who embodies courage, compassion, and wisdom." As Ethan lay down to rest, the small creature curled at his side, and he thought of the journey that had brought him here. The dangers he had faced, the trials he had overcome, and the bonds he had formed. Being claimed was more than an honor. It was a responsibility to live up to the trust others placed in him. He closed his eyes, feeling the quiet hum of Valoria through the crystal walls. Whatever challenges awaited tomorrow, he knew one thing. He would face them with courage, heart, and determination. He was ready to embrace his new life, to protect those who needed him, and to prove that humans, even fragile and far from home, could rise to greatness. And as the twin moons cast their soft glow over Thaloria, Ethan felt a calm certainty. He had made his choice. He would be claimed, and Valoria would never forget the human who dared to be brave. The morning of the claiming ceremony dawned bright and clear over Thaloria. The twin suns reflected off the crystalline towers, casting golden and violet light across the city. Citizens lined the streets, their eyes wide with curiosity and excitement. Word had spread quickly about the human who had faced the trials, saved the child, and risked himself to protect Valoria. Today, Ethan would officially become a guardian of the planet. Ethan stood in the palace courtyard dressed in ceremonial attire that shimmered like the crystal towers themselves. The small silver-furred creature perched on his shoulder, chirping softly as if sensing the importance of the moment. He felt a mixture of pride, nervousness, and responsibility. This was no longer a test. This was a commitment, a promise to protect Valoria and those who depended on him. Princess Lyra approached, her violet eyes glowing with quiet pride. "Ethan," she said, her voice calm and strong, "today you will be claimed. This is not a title, nor is it a reward. It is a responsibility. As a claimed guardian, you accept duty, trust, and protection over all who look to you. Do you understand the weight of this commitment?" Ethan straightened, his heart steady. "I understand, Princess. I accept the responsibility, and I will do my best to protect Valoria and its people." Lyra nodded, signaling to the ceremonial guards. They stepped forward, placing glowing crystalline insignias in Ethan's hands. Each symbol represented a value: courage, intelligence, empathy, and loyalty. "You have already demonstrated courage," Lyra said. "You have shown intelligence, creativity, and understanding. You have proven empathy, care, and compassion. And through your actions you have earned the loyalty and trust of Valoria. Today these symbols will be bound to you, marking your claiming." Ethan accepted the insignias carefully, feeling their energy pulse through his hands. The small creature chirped, nuzzling his cheek as if to offer encouragement. The ceremony began with a gathering of the Valorian Council and citizens. They watched silently as Ethan approached the central pedestal, where the insignias would be fused to him. Lyra placed her hand gently on his shoulder. "Ethan," she said, "are you ready to be claimed?" Ethan took a deep breath, glancing at the city, the citizens, and the child he had saved. He thought of the trials, the puzzles, the physical challenges, the skirmish at the outskirts, and the choices that had tested his spirit. He had come far, and now it was time to take the final step. "I am ready," he said firmly. The council began the ritual. A beam of soft light surrounded Ethan, lifting him slightly above the pedestal. The insignias glowed brightly, then fused with his energy, marking him as a claimed guardian. He felt a warmth spread through him, a connection not just to the planet but to the people, the creatures, and the values he had come to respect deeply. As the light faded, the citizens erupted in quiet applause, their respect and admiration clear. Ethan stood tall, feeling a profound sense of purpose. He was no longer just a visitor. He was a guardian, a human who had proven that courage, empathy, and intelligence could bridge worlds. Lyra stepped forward, placing her hand lightly on his arm. "Ethan, you are now officially claimed. From this day forward, you are a protector of Valoria. Your duties will not be easy, but your choices and actions will shape the future of this world." Ethan bowed slightly. "I will honor this responsibility, Princess. I promise to protect Valoria, its people, and its children." The small silver-furred creature chirped joyfully, and the child he had saved ran forward, hugging him tightly. Ethan smiled, feeling the bonds he had formed strengthen even further. This was what being claimed meant. Not just a title, but a connection that could not be broken. As the day progressed, Ethan began his new duties. He accompanied Lyra on patrols, guided young Valorians in training exercises, and helped manage the city's safety protocols. Every decision he made now carried weight, and he approached each task with the same courage, intelligence, and empathy that had earned him his claiming. During a patrol near the city outskirts, a small alert appeared on Ethan's device. A group of rogue creatures had been spotted near a village outside Thaloria. Without hesitation, Ethan led a team to investigate. Using the skills he had learned during his trials, he devised a strategy to protect the villagers without endangering himself or others. He instructed the young Valorians to form protective barriers, guided the citizens to safe zones, and used clever maneuvers to divert the creatures. The mission was a success and the villagers were unharmed. Ethan's leadership had earned their trust and gratitude. Later, back in the palace, Lyra observed him quietly. "You have done well, Ethan," she said. "Being claimed is not a single event. It is a path. Today you begin that path. The trials will continue, challenges will arise, but your courage, empathy, and intelligence will guide you." Ethan nodded. "I understand, Princess. I am ready for whatever comes next." As the day turned to evening, Ethan walked through the palace gardens, the city glowing softly under the twin moons. He reflected on his journey, the child he had saved, the small silver creature that had become his companion, the young Valorians who had trusted him, and Princess Lyra, who had believed in him. Being claimed was more than an honor. It was a responsibility to protect, guide, and care for those who depended on him. He realized that his actions had consequences far beyond what he had imagined. Every choice mattered. Every decision could affect countless lives. The small creature chirped, nudging him gently. Ethan smiled and stroked its soft fur. "We've come a long way, haven't we?" he said, "but this is just the beginning. We have a lot to do and a lot to protect." The next morning, Ethan began training with the Valorian guards. He learned new combat techniques, strategies for defending the city, and methods for understanding Valorian energy fields. Each lesson strengthened his connection to the planet and its people. The small creature and the child remained by his side, and together they formed a team that was respected and admired by all. During a break, Lyra approached him again. "Ethan," she said, "you have proven that humans can rise to greatness even in worlds far from their own. Your claiming is not just a personal achievement, it is a symbol of the bond between Valoria and humanity, and a reminder that courage, empathy, and intelligence can bridge even the widest gaps." Ethan felt a surge of pride. "Thank you, Princess. I will do my best to honor that symbol and the trust placed in me." Lyra smiled. "I have no doubt you will. But remember, being claimed is not the end. It is the beginning of a lifetime of service, learning, and protection. Valoria will look to you, and you will guide them with the heart of a human and the wisdom of a guardian." In the weeks that followed, Ethan faced new challenges, diplomatic missions, city defenses, and complex situations that required both thought and bravery. Each time he relied on the lessons he had learned and the bonds he had formed. The young Valorians, the citizens, and even some skeptical guards came to respect him deeply. Through every trial, the question that had haunted him since meeting Lyra, "Are you claimed?" no longer needed to be asked. He had made the choice, embraced the responsibility, and proven that humanity could shine even in alien worlds. One evening, as he stood on a balcony overlooking the city with Lyra and the child, Ethan felt a sense of calm and purpose. The twin moons reflected off the crystalline towers, casting light that seemed to reach every corner of Thaloria. "You have done well, Ethan," Lyra said softly. "You are a guardian now, not just in title, but in spirit. Valoria is safer because of you, and its people are stronger because they have someone to trust and follow." Ethan smiled, looking at the city, the citizens, and the small silver creature that had become his companion. "I will continue to do my best, Princess. For the child, for Valoria, and for everyone who depends on me." Lyra nodded, her eyes warm with approval. "And that, Ethan, is why humans are remarkable. You carry the potential to inspire, protect, and lead, even on a world far from your own. Valoria is fortunate to have you." As the night deepened, Ethan looked at the stars beyond Valoria's sky, thinking of Earth, his home, and the journey that had brought him here. He realized that being claimed was not a limitation. It was a choice to rise above, to protect, and to serve. And in doing so, he had discovered the true strength of humanity. Courage paired with compassion, intelligence paired with empathy, and bravery paired with responsibility. Ethan had become more than a visitor. He was a guardian, a protector, and a symbol of what humans could achieve, even in worlds far beyond their own. And somewhere in the crystal towers of Thaloria, Princess Lyra smiled, knowing that the human she had claimed would continue to change Valoria. One courageous act at a time. For Ethan, the journey had just begun, but he was ready. He was claimed, he was home.